Kit Jennings on the phone to talk about the whole House Bill 59. For or against it, Kit?
Against it.
Okay, and why?
Well, let's take it beyond what we would consider our constitutional rights given to us by God and go to what they want to do with this bill. And if you go to the end of the bill, and it's for the disclosure is necessary for purposes of reporting to the National Instant Criminal Background Check. Now, if you go into Wyoming events, we've not had anything in Wyoming that really would say that we have a problem because we have somebody that has a gun that shouldn't have a gun. But when we go back and start to look at people that shouldn't have a gun, what do we have in Wyoming as far as mental health that can really make that determination? Because if you look up psychiatrists, which I would, if I'm going to lose my constitutional right, I would like to have the guy that's practicing at the highest level make that determination, not somebody in the mid-level.
Right. Well, first off, we all know that you're crazy anyway, but that's a different story. Here's the thing, Chris. According to my understanding from the guests that we have here is it was already determined that somebody is mentally unstable and their gun rights were already taken away. This is supposed to be a reporting mechanism. So
why do we have to report something to the federal government when this form when a form of this bill was in front of the Judiciary Committee? We had a representative of the Law Enforcement Association get up in front of the committee and say that if we did not do this, that we were going to go back to waiting for a week or two to buy a firearm. Mm-hmm. And when we checked into that wasn't true.
Okay.
But the big problem that you have here is revealing medical information under HIPAA.
Right.
You can't even give somebody's name without a HIPAA violation.
Right. Now, the gentleman that I had on before that I was interviewing again, he's an advocate for retailers who sell guns. He says, well, what you do is when you go to buy a gun, there's a form in front of you. Do you agree to let us look at this information? No,
I don't agree to let you look at this information. And that shouldn't even be an option.
Okay.
Nephi's organization is taking a stance that they're going to limit some liability to them by having this bill in place. But what they do is they take your rights and my rights of privacy away. They violate HIPAA. So on the HIPAA laws, the person who reveals the information, and that's your name and that you have a mental problem to lose your guns, is enough. That's a $50,000 fine to that individual. Show me in this bill any of them that are out there for it where we're going to cover that $50,000 fine, or that in federal law they've opened the gate to where it's not a HIPAA violation. This was one of the things the judiciary looked at and said, "Well, we didn't realize that," and they backed off and they voted this bill down. Now, okay. I know one of the sponsors sat next to him for 8 years, and he is not a gun advocate.
Okay, I just had him on earlier, as a matter of fact, Mr. Von Flateren.
Good guy. Yeah, good guy. Consider him a friend, but he's not a gun advocate. He is very against it. If there was anything that came up to vote on guns, he voted against them. He does not carry a decent rating from NRA. As a matter of fact, he's probably got an F if you go look at it. And so when you look at this, like you were saying earlier, let's look at the people. If you look at the people that are behind this, they're not pro-gun. And when you look at the fact that they're not covering the HIPAA violation, and you're going to give mental information to the federal government, and can you guarantee me that information is going to stay private? No, because they can't even keep my Social Security number private. So you're opening up a whole bunch of cans of worms, other than the fact that I have a constitutional right to have that gun. The state of Wyoming stands behind it. We do report to the background check, but we're not. They want us to report more. That comes out of Washington. with the same kind of people that are sponsoring this bill.
Okay. Now, see, what I would like to hear from the Wyoming Gun Owners Association, who I've supported in the past, I know these people and I've supported some of what they've done, but every time I go to, I'm just going to be straight with everybody. They're not going to like me for this, but okay. Every time I go to, let's say, to their Facebook page and I watch videos or I read something they've written, what they're doing is a bunch of name calling, and they haven't made an argument like you just made. You actually cited something, and here's the problem with it. Here's why we should not pass it. I'd like Wyoming gun owners to come on the program and do that.
Well, I'm a member of Wyoming Gun Owners.
Okay, I'm glad you're here.
I'm not an official spokesman by any means.
But
I'm
you're
speaking today as myself.
Sure, but you're making a good case anyway.
I've had with this.
Yeah, see, you're actually called and made a good case.